What's up, world? Welcome to another episode of the Brandon Janeau Show. I am Brandon Janeau. Sorry about that. I am Brandon Janeau. And of course, like always, shout out to my family at Urban Boulevard. BLVD.us is the website. .co is where you can find them on social media. And if you find our social medias, Urban Boulevard BLVD.co, and you follow them and you buy something from them on their website at Urban Boulevard, BLVD.us. Use the code Brandon.30 for 30% off. That's Brandon.30 for 30% off of your purchase. Hope you use it. Hope you do it. And summer's almost over. School's almost coming back in. So you probably gotta buy some kids some school clothes, buy you some clothes if you're a teacher, principal, or assistant, administration, just saying. And hope you guys enjoy this episode for real, for real. All right, let's get it. New sign, clearly. Still the same kind of face. Face is still there, but there's a new logo. Kind of sign, kind of. Anyway, hope you guys enjoy this. Like I said, so so tonight's my 200 episode. Drops on YouTube, on podcast platforms everywhere. Hope you guys listen to it. Hope you guys like it. Hope you guys enjoy it. So this is 201 total. This is episode 26 of season 5. Um, and I was just running and thinking, what can I do for season? What's the next episode, pretty much, right? And so I thought about like this. So a big topic that has been pretty much going on lately has been I usually do these episodes with my family, but I did it tonight by myself. So music, music is universal. Music is the one thing I think they always say it's math and music. I think that is universally the same loved. Universally loved. Math and music doesn't change. It doesn't nothing. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has to do math. Everybody loves music. So the last couple of weeks, music has kind of been in the forefront, kind of a lot of people's thoughts. One, particularly, um, musical genre of music has been R&B. Now I grew up with R&B, 90s kid, so 90s R&B, like late 90s R&B, early 2000s R&B. It was kind of like the shit. You grew up with it. Now I'm not gonna go into the versus battle that happened a couple weeks ago. Um, at the end of the day, they're still gonna get money off of this shit because they're still talking about it. Like, dude, it just wasn't a good night at the office for any of you motherfuckers. Let's just put it as that and leave it as that. And let's just put it as that. Uh, it kind of didn't make it any better though when like literally everybody was talking about that shit. I think for like a week, and then Usher drops, the Tiny Desk, NPR Tiny Desk concert, and he just is just on y'all like, yeah, that's their R&B, and this is real R&B. Like, let's just get that out the way. Like, Usher killed that shit. I was watching that shit, and I was like, damn, this is what I grew up on, for real, for real. And that's kind of how I feel about music right now. Music is such a different type of thing when I grew up. And if you know anything about me and you listen to my shows, you know I do a top 10 list with my family. And mainly, most of those lists are music related because we are all in different types of mindsets towards music, but it's all at the end of the day the same. Like I said, it's the same love. Music, man. Music will eventually get to anybody. And I think R&B right now, particularly for males, like male R&B has always kind of been in like a dormant kind of feeling. Like since like I said like '08, I'll be like '08. That's when like I think like Usher took a break and left. Then Chris Brown came, but then Chris Brown had his problems going on, and then you kind of had to find T Pain had a run, but everybody was kind of like going at T Pain, which made no sense to me. I just personally didn't understand that shit. I'm like T Pain's killing this shit, but Usher was gone. Chris Brown was in legal trouble. Um, Neo had a run, but everybody kind of was like I guess we'll deal with Neo. We'll fuck with Neo right now until they come back. It was never really like a real thing. Like Trey Songz then came and took over a little bit, and then but what I'm saying is male R&B was just never in the mid 2000s to like 2000 to now. Male R&B has never really had a stable superstar. It just hasn't. It just that shit just isn't what it is. And I always felt like with male R&B, it's kind of like the same thing I feel about female R&B. I mean, not female R&B, female hip hop. Well, where it's kind of like the field just isn't a lot of people in the field playing. It's not a lot of people that's actually physically putting up the numbers. And I feel that way about female hip hop in a sense. It's like it was a good bit where female hip hop wasn't even a thing. It was just you know if somebody could be successful, then that's a shocker. That was like a that's interesting. And that's the thing, man. And I think that I look at like music right now as such a very interesting situation in a sense, but it's kind of in a very dominant situation where yes, music is the same, but do you blame it on the artist or do you blame it on the the industry that they're in right now? Where it's kind of like most of the music is TikTok dances and the latest wave of shit, and it's not even like a real fucking thing anymore. It's not even like create something that people remember. Like most of the biggest hits in the game right now is kind of just samples. It's old. It's not even samples like 30 years, 40 years, like Temptations, Marvin Gaye, Luther Vandross. This is more so like shit I literally grew up listening to. Like shit that used to be on 106 in Park. Like when you're sampling shit that used to be on 106 in Park, it's like okay, this shit is different. Um, but my whole thing has been that, and I think that even in the senses of that, like music right now isn't as great as it used to be anymore. You know, and I think that when you create uh something like music, you gotta have something, man. You gotta have something of value. And I don't feel that way about the industry right now. I don't feel that way about music right now. Female hip hop and male R&B are the same to me. I don't see any difference. I don't. They lack substance. It lacks um awareness that you're talking about the same shit just on a different beat. It's not even like and R&B is like the same shit. It's not even a different beat anymore. Back in the day when I was a kid, R&B, male R&B, it had like a real class of its own. It had a real like people that did R&B. Male R&B now, you could literally look at the BET Awards, like perfect example, like somebody like a Young Blue, who a lot of people would consider a Ja Rule, Nelly, 50, DMX kind of. Not I'm saying not like them artistry wise, but I'm saying he makes kind of like that same music where it's not really a blend of hip hop, it's not really R&B, it's both. It's a blend. It's not really hip hop, it's not really R&B. Ride Wave, another one, like it's not really hip hop, but it's not also R&B. It's melodic as fuck. It's ballad feel, but it's also lyrical. They are rapping in a sense, you know, and that's why I think the line is so shattered between because if you ask kids who's their favorite R&B artist, they're like R&B, what the fuck is that? It's crazy to say to a kid like, what's your favorite R&B artist? Like R&B, what the fuck is that? What is that? And that's the thing, man. I don't think that music is. I don't think R&B figures it has a male R&B, because female R&B has always been successful. Female R&B has always had. Now I equate female R&B to like male hip hop, like where no matter what, that is their core. That is what they do. Like I can easily say like Beyonce. Beyonce's a R&B artist, a female R&B artist. Clearly, everybody knows that. But she could go do different genres of music. She could easily go pop and do pop music. She could do dance. I don't know what the fuck this new album gonna be, but it feels like it's gonna be a dance kind of album, which is 100% people are gonna be like, yeah, that makes sense. That's cool. and people gonna bump it and fuck with it. She can also go do country music, what she did with the Dixie Chicks and shit like that. She could easily go do other genres of music, but her key, her making of her career is R&B. That's what she does. She's that. Same thing with Rihanna. I can't even say it. But Rihanna's last couple of songs, when she before she kind of like took the hiatus, was really R&B feel. Like it wasn't as like trying to be as popish. Like she was kind of like Love on My Brain and shit like that. Like that shit was an R&B song. That was a ballad. Like, that was a real R&B song. Yeah, she got the pops shit, but she can actually do R&B records. It's not like she just doesn't do R&B records. She knows her shit already. But like I say, like her is a real artist. Like I think she can tote the lines between R&B, jazz, blues, pop, whatever she wants to do because it's easy for her to fall into all of it. But at the end of the day, she's still the core of hers music is R&B. Same thing with SZA. She can go do songs with Doja Cat and all these pop songs with like Maroon 5, but her core is R&B. I feel like saying what about male hip hop in a sense. Male hip hop is very easy to adjust to. It's like J. Cole. Like, yeah, J. Cole. Hell, J. Cole. J. Cole could do anything he wants to do. He could go do the pop records. I mean, hell, he was on TKO remix with for Justin Timberlake. Like Justin Timberlake put him on there, and then it's like not just not just J. Cole, but clearly Drake. Drake is one of the best examples where he doesn't always have to stay in hip hop. He's got his own lanes. He could just go do pop music. He could easily go do I don't like the last Drake album, but he does dance. He can do that shit if he wants to. He could go do country music if he felt really wants to. I mean, hell, him and Bad Bunny got a badass song. Mia, like that was a bad song. I love that song. That shit was fire as fuck. But he can go do that. Like he is one of those that can jump in and out of different genres. But at the end of the day, his core is hip hop. It's rap. Jay Z, perfect example. Jay Z can do anything he wants to do. He doesn't always have to do hip hop. One of the best projects that I would tell anybody to listen to of a clashing of two different genres of music, but it sounded so beautifully together, is Jay Z and Linkin Park when they did their compilation project together. Like that shit was incredible. Like you go listen to like Encore slash Numb. That's probably one of the best fucking like. I give the original Encore like this much of a of a just this much over the Numb Encore version. It's this much, and that's mainly because of like the Hova. It's just like the way Kanye kind of produced that shit. You can tell like this was Jay Z's last real big like this gonna be it. And I think that kind of always kind of like even though Jay Z came back, but it's like but also that introduced me to Linkin Park. Like it really introduced me to Linkin Park. I didn't even listen to Linkin Park until Jay Z. I heard some songs by them, but I never really physically sat down and listened to Linkin Park until Jay Z did a compilation project with them. That's literally one of my favorite rappers teaming up with now a rock band. I need to know what this rock band is. Who this is? I heard of Coldplay. I heard of Green Day. I've never heard of this. And I started listening to Linkin Park. I fucked with Linkin Park ever since. So it's just that. Little Wayne. Little Wayne could go do a complete rock album and then come back and do hip hop and nothing changed. It's shit like that. But they're core rappers. That's what they are. I think the thing about like female hip hop and male R&B is that once they kind of get success, or as people would say, once they cross over mainstream, it's hard for them to kind of keep their core because they're not because they didn't really balance out the hip hop. For female hip hop artists, it's like they're easily gonna be pop superstars. Easy. Nicki Minaj it didn't take Nicki Minaj that long to take over pop culture. It really didn't take that long. Once she kind of like got a hit, got that big fucking stamp of approval, and she was on Monster with Kanye, and then she did her album Pink Friday. That shit was done. Like even before then, like I think like 2010, before that shit even came out, that shit was she was already a fucking superstar. Like it was that. Same they were Cardi B. Cardi B didn't really have to put out like an album. She was already a made superstar. Mag too. Like all these female rappers, they don't have to really put out. Once they put out a single and it trends, they're set to the moon already. The problem with that is they don't really build a fan base. That's unlike Nicki. Nicki actually built her hip hop fan base. She knew that this is her core. I can go do the pop records and I go do these, quick songs with all these people, but this is the core. I think the problem with it right now you're seeing with like a Cardi B and a Mag is like they don't know where to land. It's kind of hard because they know now they got to play for the pop charts and they also got to play for hip hop fans and they got to also, and some people can't really do that shit. That's not who they are. So it's kind of hard for them to balance all that shit. Whereas for Nicki, she kind of could easily balance that shit, and that's rare. That's a rare thing for like even for male R&B. I said him earlier, but Chris Brown has figured out a way to kind of get his shit to where, and Chris Brown could have been Usher. Let's be real, like for a second, like Chris Brown could have been Usher. He could have had he could have probably been bigger than Usher if you know his life didn't take the turn that it took at that time. He probably could have been bigger than Usher. I mean, he was. I remember going to school and this motherfucker had a gum commercial coming on channels when I was a kid, like when I was going to school. Like, 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 fucking talk about some double the fun. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, what? I was like, what? He fucked all that up. You know what I'm saying? But even that, in a sense, I think one person from R&B, male R&B, that has figured out a way to keep himself in tune with all of it, and that is Bruno Mars. Bruno Mars has the ability to literally be a pop star. He is the easiest one that could be a pop star. But the fact of the matter is, he doesn't want to. Go back to 2016, 2017, I think the Grammys. 2017, I think he won best. 2017, 2018, he won best. He won album of the year at the Grammys for his album 24K Magic. If you actually listen to what he said in interviews was, I grew up on the New Jack Swing era. That whole album was kind of like a homage to the New Jack Swing era. New Jack Swing era guy. You know what I'm saying? Like like I grew up with that era, so I know a lot about it. You know what I'm saying? Tony, shit like that. Like it's just like you don't understand. Like for an artist like Bruno Mars to be like, I grew up on this shit. Shit, you don't believe that? Go look at the Finesse video. It's literally on my A Living Color. When did A Living Color come out? In the '90s, during the New Jack Swing era. It's like that's not a shocker that he's influenced by that. But people would take that and be like, okay, but he's the only artist that has figured out a way to make pop music, make R&B, get you dancing, give you all the records that you would like, but also keep it to his core and what he likes to do. And I think that's rare for artists out. Just listen to the Silk Sonic project, 10 songs, and all 10 songs is like an homage to like the '70s, '80s of like hell. They got Boosie Collins doing fucking narrating the project. Like it's an homage to that. But for Bruno Mars to not have to fall into the and he can easily be a pop star. It's so easy for him to fall into it. But to go and do a project, excuse me, with Anderson Paak, who at the time maybe to me and other fans of that his music, you knew who he was. But if you didn't know who Anderson Paak was, you're like, Bruno Mars gonna work with him? Who the fuck is that? And that's the thing. He actually uplifted a artist that to some knew, but now all know. And now everybody's gonna be checking for the Anderson Paak album now because it's like, yo, if Bruno Mars worked with him and the shit sounded amazing, he must be fire. And for a man that's literally like a Dr. Dre understudy, yeah, he's pretty fucking good. If you didn't know that, but that's what I'm saying. Music right now is such a interesting situation where it's kind of like you're looking for the breakout star. You're looking for an artist that's just gonna make you sing. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And I don't think you're gonna find it. Not in his era. Not in his era. If you're trying to be like that person that's got the charisma of a superstar, but also just doesn't give a fuck and they just make music, I don't think that happens in this era. And the artists that I do believe that have that, I don't think will ever have the 100% crossover appeal, like talking about it, because I don't think they want it. Like Cardi, GID, her, like I said earlier, I don't think they want it. I don't think they give a fuck about it. They not like rushing to have it. I think that's the beauty of them, like because, and that's what keeps their music so pure. Because it's kind of like once you get to a certain level of success, like Drake, you just do whatever you do just to maintain that success. You don't really give a fuck anymore about creating a proper projects, and I think that's a problem with kind of like in a sense for Drake. It's kind of like I love Drake. Drake's one of my favorite artists, but it's just like some of his shit now is kind of like okay, you're just doing shit just to get radio play. I clearly know that, and I'm not one of them that's blind to the artist, where it's like nah, that shit was amazing. No, it was like this last album he dropped. I was like, yo, what the fuck is this, bruh? I was like, what the fuck is this? Is that? But at the end of the album, you get a song like Jimmy Cooks, and you're like, oh, okay, I kind of see now where it could go. And if it happens, then great, because then it makes sense for you to drop an album like that. But if it doesn't go that way, it's kind of like, oh shit, nigga, what the fuck were you thinking? And that's the thing. I think for artists like Drake, you just maintain whatever you got to maintain to stay at the top. And and another one of my favorite artists, The Weeknd, another one where I feel like he's lost his he's lost the mysteriousness of himself. And I think he's still trying to think that he's still mysterious when he does albums and shit. Like he's still ominous and he could just do whatever and nobody's gonna. But it's like, dude, you lost that a long time ago. When you decide to do a pop kind of album where even though people can say, well, you know, Beauty and the Madness wasn't really a pop kind of album, but that shit was pop. That was a very pop album. Like if you go listen to it like front to back, that shit was kind of like as pop as you can get it. And Starboy was the most pop album I've ever heard The Weeknd ever have. Like that shit was pop. And it's one of my favorite albums by The Weeknd, which is the craziest thing. He's got some good fucking songs on Starboy, man. Outside of like the obvious songs, like I feel it coming, and of course, Starboy itself, like Die for You is probably one of the best fucking Weekend songs I've ever heard in my life. Like it's literally the best Weekend song I think I've ever heard. Reminder is literally the second best Weekend song I've ever heard in my life. Out of Time is also just a dope fucking record. That's more Quincy Jones than anything, and that just really made me feel like Thriller. But yeah, like The Weeknd is another one. Like The Weeknd, I think is still trying to give you like that a mysterious type. But it's like, dude, you're not mysterious. We know everything about you. We know your life. We know who you're dating, who you're fucking, who you kicking it with, who you. And I'm looking forward to this new show he's got coming out on HBO. That shit look fire. I just saw the trailer today. That shit look fire. But I'm like, yo, like, I don't know, man. The Weeknd is one. Travis Scott's another one that I think lost their mysteriousness, and now they're trying to regain it. But like, we know too much about your life. It's never gonna come back. You're never gonna go back to that guy where it was like nobody knows you, and if you knew who that was, you were privileged. Like, damn, like y'all need to get on Travis Scott. Y'all need to get on The Weeknd. Like that motherfucker fire. I'm telling you now. If you guys should like ask the Weeknd and Travis Scott's core fans, they probably be like, I still fuck with them, but it's kind of like they lost what that was. They lost who they were, and they're never gonna get it back. And I think that that's the thing about music. Sometimes when you come out the mysterious guy, if you can't keep it, it's not gonna be. You're never gonna get it back. Your first impression is really that. It's the first impression. So once you go further into your career, like the thing about Def Punk, like I think the reason why Def Punk got tired of being with each other is kind of like we can't stay mysterious. Eventually, eventually people are gonna ask us like take the fucking helmets off. So let's just cut this shit the fuck off right here, right now. And I respect that. I think a lot of artists like nowadays, like I said, like once you go to a certain point, you can never get back to who you were. That's why it just feels like when you hear like certain people not want to do interviews anymore, it's like, dog, you lost that mysterious shit a long time ago. You might as well just sit down and have a conversation with a motherfucker. Cause that mysterious shit is gone. It's done. It's dead in the fucking water. Like it's just done. And I think that's the problem with artists nowadays. I think when you're still living in the past of what you used to be, and you're not living into the now. The now is very simple, and even for current artists that are starting to try to live in the now, but it feels like you're just doing shit just to stay at the top, and I can't support that. Like Drake, love Drake to that. Honest, Honest Never Mind project, he could have kept that shit. I said that shit on my Instagram live when that shit popped off. I said it was a brilliant move for Drake because Drake is usually a calculated thinker and he usually has a reason for why he dropped some bullshit like that. And I think he is. I think he does have a calculated reason for why he dropped it because I guess he wanted to see if critics really was just they talk that shit and they would they really come out and go at me. And he did. He did. But I think that's the thing about Drake. He wants to hear people say, "You just don't have classics, man. You don't have a classic under your belt." Music is that right now. And I think R&B, the male R&B scene and female hip hop is the scenes are a perfect example of that. You're just doing what you got to do to be successful. And I think that's the worst part of it because it's like once you get to a certain point of like this is all I got to do to stay successful. Okay, cool. I'm going to continue to do that. You lose your mysteriousness. You lose the core of what made you so like, hmm, I like that. Let me go listen to that some more. You lost that. And now you're just doing whatever it's so if it was like a pop-ish song that kind of got you successful, you're gonna continue to do the pop-ish song to keep yourself just keep yourself at that success. And that's the problem. The problem with music is that it's not the music that's starting to sound bad. It's the artist feel like I don't really have to put the work in anymore. I don't have to try to get better. I don't have to try to level myself up because it's kind of like once I get to the point where I know how to maneuver you motherfuckers, I can easily maneuver you motherfuckers. You might not like it, but they will. They might not like it, but you will. And that's the problem. Stop making it for I'm gonna make this song for this side and I'm gonna make this song for that side. Stop that. Just make music. Because if it's actually from your heart and it actually sounds good, I don't give a fuck what side it's for. I'm gonna fuck with it. I'm gonna fuck with it perfectly, and especially if it comes from like one of my favorite artists. Like if it's from Drake or Wayne or Jay or Weekend or Ed Sheeran, I'm like J Cole clearly. Like I'm like, yep, this shit fire. I can't even deny it. This shit fire. So I think music right now, man, is in a music is in a space where you just don't know, and I think that's because the big named artists aren't really trying anymore. They're just dropping whatever the fuck they deem the shit that's gonna keep me in the top spot. And that is a problem because I don't think that's going to last forever. Because a lot of people are gonna get to the point where they're just like, you know what, fuck this shit. I don't want to listen to you anymore. And it can happen. Don't get it twisted. Oh, it can happen. You don't believe me? Better go ask MC Hammer and Vanilla Ice because it can happen. What I'm trying to say is this, man. One thing I've been hearing lately is like it's hard to find a good artist. It's hard to find a good artist. There are artists out there that are good, but they just don't make maybe the classic album. They don't have the straight albums that you fuck with, but they got songs and certain things about them that you do like. So I would tell anybody go listen to artists that you deem. Go listen to everything. Stop being closed off. That's the main thing. Stop being closed off. Stop just being like, I just want to hear hip hop. I just want to listen to rap. I just want to listen to R&B. Go listen to everything because you're gonna find out. Wow, I really fuck with Chris Stapleton. Wow, I fuck with Dan and Shay. Wow, I fuck with Ed Sheeran. Wow, Justin Timberlake is that dude. Damn, you know what I'm saying? Like, damn, Linkin Park is the shit. Wow, Green Day music is timeless. Phil Collins had way more than just filling in the air tonight. Like, Phil Collins had way more than just I can fill in the air tonight. Like what the fuck? Like Phil Collins was the shit. Hold on, I didn't know that. It's like holy shit, I didn't know that. Go listen to everything, man. Go listen to everything, man. You'll be surprised. You'll be very fucking surprised that like there's way more than just Little Baby, Little Dirk. um, Jay Z, Nas, like Beyonce, Alicia Keys, her, Jasmine Sullivan. You'd be like, wow, this is different. This is really different. One thing I did just recently was like the Saturday night jam sessions I always do. I love doing it with my family because we always have fun. And it was a point in the jam session where we weren't playing hip hop and R&B no more. We were just playing music. And here, all of us have different. All of us like the same shit. Like when we're literally requesting, like, put on Paramore and put on the Fray, put on like Three Doors Down, put on like when you start to realize Maroon 5, like put on Green Day, put on when you start to realize that, you start to play that into your mind. Put on Chris Stapleton, put on Blake Shelton. You know what I'm saying? Put on Coffee. Like it's you would never understand a night like that because it's just like wow, we all are different in certain aspects, but the music that we like isn't so different because we are listening to shit and we all singing along to it. It's a different type of energy, man. That shit is fun, man. I can't even knock it. It's like that's what I love. So that's why I tell y'all, man. Go listen to everything. Do not get closed off. Do not let that hip hop R&B shit always deter you from like going to listen to other shit. Because at the end of the day, that's how music is made, man. Go listen to even if you don't know what a Bad Bunny or J Balvin or you know what I'm saying they saying, go listen to it. Because you'll find out, this shit actually dope. I actually fuck with this. Okay, I can fuck with this. Go listen to Calvin Harris. Which, by the way, I'm looking forward to his new album. Go listen to Calvin Harris. Go listen. Go listen. It's your fucking phone. Nobody gonna know. Go listen to your shit. Go listen to music, man. Enjoy it. Because the artists that y'all keep looking for, they might not be in your particular genre of music right now, but they're not like it's not like they're not alive and they're not there. It's like you just close yourself off to if it's nobody in this era that's in my genre of music, I'm not gonna listen to them. Don't do that shit. Don't do that shit. One of my favorite concerts I've ever been to, I was at Ed Sheeran in Minute Maid Park here in Houston. I've been wanting to see Ed Sheeran for a while, and I got a chance to go see him. That shit was incredible. Now, me and my mom might have been the only two black people there, but that shit was incredible because I'm singing Ed Sheeran songs, and I'm just like, man, I see fire. He started singing I See Fire. I was like, oh, he sung I See Fire. This shit is cool. It's like he sang I See Fire. Like holy shit. And it's just songs like that, man. And seeing Ed Sheeran perform in that type of structure, it was kind of like I never been to a ballpark for a concert. I've been to Minute Maid Park for Astros games, but I've never been there for a concert. So to see him perform I See Fire, I think he even performed Bloodstream that night. You know, just to see that live, it was like, whoa, thinking out loud live is you think thinking out loud is great when you're listening to it on the radio. Listening to that shit live with just him and his guitar and he's just singing with the lights. Everybody got the fucking lighter on and they got the light on the phone and they're just like swirling the phone back. It's a different type of energy, man. It really fucking is. Then he comes out and closes out the show with Shape of You. You would never understand what that type of energy is. It's like, God damn, this shit is awesome. But it's that. Go experience that, man. Stop closing yourself off just to this. Go listen to everything because you'll find out you got a lot more in common with a lot of these other artists than you do in your own genre of music. I'm telling you. Watch. It's been a Brand New Show. Peace.